I'm making this video because when I'm trying to learn something, per se it's a DIY video, and the people, I don't know if they do it intentionally or I don't know, or they just assume that the person that's trying to learn it already knows how to do it. I find that out when I was doing the cambers. We skipped a lot of stuff. Anyway, before we get started, I did buy, let me see, turn the light on. I did buy, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, they're adjustable A-arms. They have six Allen bolts right there, so you can push the ball joint in and out. The camber is still not money, but it's close as it's going to be. It's instead of hogging out down the frame. I did some research that even Hellcats that I've noticed don't have slotted and drilled rotors. So the old man that had this, he put a few dollars into it. But anyway, let's just move the fuck on. Getting sidetracked here. I started out at Ghetto Garage. No, I wasn't born in the ghetto. I bought a house, I don't know, 35 years ago. It was a decent area, and it turned into the hood rats. You know, people want to sell drugs all over the place, but whatever. Anyway, that's why I called, for the longest time, my garage Ghetto Garage. This is actually smaller than Ghetto Garage, really, to tell you the truth. I do have the shoe shack, which is 2,600 square foot, but I don't like pulling cars in and out when they're not done. So make a long story short, I know I'm getting sidetracked, which I do a lot. Right where that wall is to this wall is to where that header is, I'm gonna extend it out to there. Just a square area, because I've done what I can do, and I never plan on working in this garage, but I find myself that I have one too many cars. Okay, what I don't like is that cabinet, that toolbox, because you see how close she gets. She's really close, you know. I don't want that. I don't want this in here, so I want to put it in there. And that's a non-load bearing wall. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, move the compressor over so I'll be able to walk all the way around. My point being is people, I get mad when people don't show me exactly what they're doing. Okay, you don't have to have, this is nice, don't get me wrong. It's sandblast and sucks up at the same time. But my point is, you don't have to have it. It is harder to do if you don't have it, but you don't have to have it. Because I used to do it without that. I used to do it without the stencils. I used to lay this out, draw a design, or get it out of the color book, use carbon paper to trace it over onto this, not smear it, then cut it out with a X-Acto knife. And the lines weren't as clean as this, but I didn't know any other way. My buddy owns a sign shop, and he makes these. You can pretty much go anywhere to any sign shop, graphic shop, and you can buy this. It's a lot quicker. It's well worth the money. I used to use this really thick tape that you can't rip, and I still use it at times. It's really, really thick. I mean, it's crazy thick. It's sandblast tape. Anyway, when I'm in a hurry, I'll run a border around it real quick like this. What's my point? I run it at 80 psi. You don't need a compressor with an 80-gallon tank. You don't. But, you know, if you have a 20-gallon tank or a 30-gallon tank, you're going to have to wait for it. And what I mean is you're going to have to wait when that motor turns on to stop sandblasting and let it get all the way caught up, because otherwise you're not going to get the even pressure, and this is going to look milky. It's not going to look consistent. I'm not saying this is beautiful. That's not where I'm going, okay? I'm just explaining what I would want somebody to explain to me. Okay, we're running 80 psi. It probably will drop down to, because my hose is here, I run a really small 1/4-inch hose. Why? I got enough air pressure that I don't want that hose on my wrist. I know it's not a lot of weight. I understand that. but you're not 60, okay? When you're 60, you let me know. You try to find all these little tricks to make your life easier. That's why I run a 1/4" hose. It's just more nimble. It's not as stiff, yada yada. So my point is, I probably run about 70 psi. One time I was doing my S10 truck, I didn't have it on a regulator, and I had it on 175 psi, and I almost blew a hole right through the goddamn glass. And what I mean by blow, it didn't break, it was digging. It'll keep digging. And all this is I use place sand, and then I filter it between 2 house screens. Like that. I don't use the mortar, I'm sorry, not mortar, but the stuff they use to level the dirt, it's kind of got bigger rocks in it, to level cinder blocks or whatever it is, because you're going to get a lot of little rocks, and really you're wasting your money. You might as well just buy place sand, because I find when I still filter this, the place sand is really consistent, and that's what you want. You could buy the black stuff, which I do when I sandblast toolboxes down, but I use place sand because I want the finer grit. I don't. Now you can etch this with a cutting agent, which I've never done it, and maybe it's fabulous. I don't know. And when I do this, I take this, and you can see right here where the black sticker is. Okay, the black sticker stops right there. What I'll do is I'll take this, and I don't want no air pocket, because I've had it where you see right there. See the air pocket? Okay, let me pull back out, because it's kind of hard to do. Is what I want is I don't want no air pocket, because I don't want to take a chance at the sandblast on any other spot than where I want it. It's like you have an air pocket in this sandblast tape right there, you can get away with it. You do it in this stencil like that, right? See that little bubble right there? I don't know if you can I don't know if you can see it very well, because you guys know right there, see it? I will push that out. I don't want that there, because I'm scared that, if you have your I don't know what point of the air pressure where it'll blow through this vinyl. You can see what it does. It goes from gloss till it gets dull. But if you keep, damn flies, if you keep going over and over it, it will start eating away. And when I sandblast, I just don't drag it across. I used to, and it causes a problem. If you just do it like this and drag it, see what I have is a suction. So what I'll do is I'll go back and forth like this and teeter-totter it so it won't grab, because what it'll do in these little pieces right here, they will actually start lifting it up. You can sandblast with the pressure pot, a little touch-up gun. You can do that. I've done all that. And is it a lot more work? It surely is. For example, if I was going to do this and I didn't have this kind of machine, what I do is I would plastic the whole thing, just call it a day, because I'm not trying to get anything anywhere, because I fucked up my share of shit, trust me. And I'm 60 and I ain't trying to fuck shit up. What I would do is I would do all this, and then what I do is I lay tape board all on this area, or I'd use cardboard. Now what I've learned is this tape is really aggressive, real aggressive. And this is why I don't use duct tape, I don't use nothing else. I make sure that I don't get on the paint, because I put the masking tape down, and then I will put this down as just a barrier, because what happened on a Mustang that I was doing before is I didn't realize that the Mustang had been painted and the door had not been scuffed, and when I put that tape on that, it actually lifted the paint right up, because it wasn't scuffed, it wasn't a tooth. So that's why I don't know, I don't believe this has been painted, but hey, I don't know, I wasn't there when whoever owned this car, I think that's the best I can explain to you. Just Don't be in a hurry, because once it's done, let me see if I can turn some light on for you. It's like right, let me see if I can show you. Like right there. It's minute, but I wish I could show you. See, it's a little air pocket. It's minute, but I don't want it there because I don't want it to blow through, because it's like a tattoo on the glass. Once they tattoo your arm and they screw up a little bit, it's there, bro. At least on the windshield, you could pull the windshield out and get in the windshield. They fuck up your arm, which I've had my arm fucked up tattoos done, paid the right money, but anyway, where you can't just cut your fucking arm off and start over. You can do laser surgery, but hey, you know, I ain't a baller like that. So, and this is transfer tape. I use this kind of a wax film because it's a low tack, but usually when you buy a sticker, they will give you a clear application tape. It doesn't work that good for me. I don't know why. I don't know why. Now, you guys got to understand, this might be too much for you. This might not be your gig. This might not be the answer to your world. I got this ideas when I worked in a factory. The factory started out, they used to make old, well, I shouldn't say old, back in the 60s they made furniture, and they always, around the mirrors and the dressers in the bedroom, they always had etching. And I always thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then I started looking at lowrider books, and they will etch, not with sand, but with a carving tool into metal, and then they'll chrome it. I always loved that. That's a talent beyond me. People say this is ghetto fabulous. Okay. You gotta understand I'm in a different era. You gotta understand that I'm still into this. I'm still into fat, wide chrome rims. That's my era. I don't want black rims. I understand black rims are the thing. I didn't grow up in that era. So if you want to call this ghetto fabulous, it doesn't hurt my feelings, because every generation has its own thing, you know. I'm not here to say anything about anything. What is really hard is when you start laying one pattern over another pattern. You don't have to. I could cut that off right there, but then it doesn't, to me, it doesn't flow. So once you lay that down, you got to lay this down, and this is the best way I can explain to you. When you lay this over it, you start cutting the vinyl, and the vinyl gets, the smaller the piece, once you cut it, the easier it's going to lift up when you're sandblasting. It is. It took me pretty much a good part of the day to lay out this pattern. And you see that it's, I don't know, I don't have a plan, I just have an idea, and I just go from there. And sometimes, pretty much it doesn't work out like I ever want to, okay? That's the best way I can say it. I'm ADHD, I'm in a hurry, I got a lot of cars to finish, I'm impatient, I got my issues, I take antidepressants, blah, blah, blah. My point being is, if I can do this, and if you like it, you can do it. You don't need all this stuff. You really can do it if you really want it. You know, I mean, the first time I sprayed, besides a bicycle, I sprayed a motorcycle, a friend of mine's, and I used masking tape and spray bomb, yellow, red, and orange to do flames on the gas tank, and he thought it was the greatest thing in the world, and that's kind of how I got started. And my point being is, yeah, I got a spray booth. You don't have to have one. It helps, but don't let shit discourage you. Don't think, well, I ain't got this and I ain't got that and I can't do it and this, that, because you know what? If I can do it, any swinging dig out there can do it. They really can. I never laid these stripes on. I fucked the first one up. I'm gonna be honest. I fucked the first one up because it wasn't his fault, it's my fault, but there was no videos out there saying that you should use soap and water and apply it like that. I thought it was a dry sticker, and it got so many bumps in it, it was just screwed up. I thought it was a sticker. Well, that was on the driver's door. That's the one that when I put it on this side, it ended up being my fault, but it was a piece of junk, make a long story short. Then I went to a second set of stickers that were real narrow, and they didn't fit. So this is the third set. And then on the third set, it said use water with 3 drops of Dawn detergent in a quart spray bottle of water. And it worked out real well. If that guy wouldn't have put that thing in the box, I would have never known to use soap and water, because there was no videos out there, and there's still no videos out there showing you how to use soap and water. They're doing a dry spray, and it's like, wow, okay, you're the fucking man, because I'm not the fucking man. I need all the help I can get, you know. So my point being, you can do it if you really want it. If you think it's ghetto fabulous, okay, I'm happy for you, and tell your mom, and have a good night, eat some popcorn and a piece of something, and enjoy your evening. And I'm off to, that's what I'll be doing later. Peace.